Hello and welcome to Grown Folk, the talk show for senior women, or if you consider yourself a mature woman, or an active ager, or a Zoomer, or
I like that word.
an older baby boomer,
Or a younger baby boomer?
or a younger baby boomer.
I like Zoomer. I like that.
I like Zoomer.
It has
I
some
think we
zip to it.
Coin that for ourselves. We are Zoomers.
I still consider myself a senior because I want those discounts. Don't you? Well, thank you for joining us. We're so glad you're here, and we're happy to be here on television.
Wonderful.
Yay. Yes.
We're just so
Great.
excited to do this.
We are. We get to talk about whatever we want to talk about, whatever we want to react to. For example, what did they just discover in Haiti? Millions, if not billions, in a depository of gold in the ground.
Oh.
I'm on the next
Yes.
plane.
I did not know.
Yeah,
missed-
gold in the ground in Haiti, as if they didn't know it was always there. And who's been down there working with the people in Haiti all this time? Sean Penn. Wonder why?
He wants some of that.
Oh, now you're not saying that he
don't.
has
I'm not saying anything. I'm just waiting for the magazine cover with all the Haitians holding big globs of gold in their hand and Sean standing there like a proud papa. I love magazine covers.
Oh, well, I think magazine
there's
covers
lots
are
of 'em
only
out there.
designed to sell magazines. Has nothing to do with the news.
reality?
Well, and talking
reality?
about the hot magazine cover that everyone's talking about, the Time magazine cover. The one with
Now that's the topic.
that really got tails wagging.
And
Everyone's talking about it.
Yes.
And I was just curious, ladies, what was your reaction the first time you saw that cover?
Well, as a mother who breastfed
How many?
three sons,
Three sons. I did too. Okay, go on.
3 out of 4 sons,
Okay.
in public, at home, on trains, on planes, and everywhere else, covered up. Covered up.
Right.
I say 40 years later, because my eldest surviving son is 40, I say 40 years later, it's about time.
I'm kind of in agreement with that actually as well because, you know, mothers want to give their kids sustenance. So who is it to say? And, you know, breastfeeding from the first 4, 5, 6 months or whatever, it's healthier. It's healthier for the child.
Well,
I think, though, at age 3, they should develop an independence without a breast.
You know what? And I agree with that, Linda. I think by the time they have teeth, they're eating food. They don't need to be holding on to a breast.
Well, I only have one biological daughter, and I did breastfeed until she was 2.
Oh, my goodness.
So she did have to. Now to be. And she's going to kill me when she hears it.
Did she have teeth? Did she have
She
teeth?
did have teeth. She did have teeth.
Well,
but,
were you kind
but
of scared every time you put it in?
No. I wasn't. She learned very quickly that if she bit, no sustenance.
Well, moving right along past that.
Well, that's a heated topic we could get into
We
later.
have a lot to share with the world today because we know that this show is broadcast all over the world. And I want to give you a little teaser and share something with you from one of our guests that's coming up later on this show. And we're going to hear a little bit about another organization for which you can volunteer because you've been writing to us about what to do with your time, where can you volunteer. We try to bring you ideas all the time. But first, let me share this with you. You were laughter and sunshine. You were thunder and rain. And you were loved. You were a dreamer and you had no time for dreams. You understood everything and nothing. And you were loved. You were a seeker yearning for all of life. You were a toucher, touching hearts, leaving dusty memories. And you were, oh, so loved. Man-child, where do you run to? Where did you go so swiftly from our lives? And with that, we'll take a short break. Stay with us.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, this may be the most important phone call you'll ever make.
I owed $50,000 in taxes. But listen.
Your tax problem is settled. You only owe $8,400.
What a great message.
I owed $13,000 on my taxes, but now?
Congratulations. You only owe $3,048.
How's that sound?
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, then you owe it to yourself to call this number or go to tax10000.com. Even if you're already at the point where you're struggling with levies and garnishments, let our experts help guide you through the process of negotiating a tax settlement.
We owe the IRS $28,000.
But check out what we actually paid.
Are you sitting down? You only owe $5,772.
Call 1-800-715-0580 or go to tax10000.com. 1-800-715-0580.
Welcome back to Grown Folk. We have an interesting person for you today. I believe most of us have heard of a group called Citizens on Patrol. With us today we have John Galt, who is well, John, let me just introduce you.
Okay.
And this is John Galt, everyone, our guest for today on Citizens on Patrol. Mr. Galt works for DART, but he's a volunteer and a longtime volunteer, I understand, for our Citizens on Patrol. Why don't you tell us a little bit how you become a Citizens on Patrol volunteer? Okay.
Well, in this region, in North Texas anyway, to become a Citizens on Patrol member, you first person has to apply for an application to the local police department. They're accepted to attend the civilian academy. Almost every police department has a civilian program type academy. It lasts anywhere from 12 weeks to 17 weeks, usually a couple nights a week, where we're given a lot of training on the police department, things they do, don't do, laws, that kind of information. After a person completes the academy, they're given an opportunity to join that city's alumni. Most of them call Citizens Academy alumni programs. At least in DeSoto, after you've been a member of the alumni for 6 months, you're allowed to apply for membership into the Citizens on Patrol program. The Citizens on Patrol program is a little different than the alumni. The alumni is predominantly like what I would say is an administrative element. They do police retirement programs and promotion ceremonies and things of that nature. Where the COPs, Citizens on Patrol, we're more of an operational element where we're actually, at least in my town, we're given a car, we have a police radio, we have a uniform, and we work, we patrol the streets under the jurisdiction of the on-shift commander and the scene on-shift supervisor.
John, is that similar to Neighborhood Watch?
A little bit. I guess the biggest difference for us is this Neighborhood Watch program is a neighborhood organization that's sanctioned by the city itself. Now, they probably have a lot of interface with the police department and so forth. Whereas like the Citizen on Patrol program, we actually are a sanctioned group that we work at really at the pleasure of the chief of police. Okay? He has
Do you carry a gun?
We do not. We are not armed. We are not sworn officers in any capacity. We are not police officers. Although we do patrol the streets, we are kind of an unofficial eyes and ears for the on-duty police officers.
So basically you patrol,
we do patrol.
You spot something that shouldn't be happening, you contact the police with your radio, and they send out a squad car and you bow out.
Bow out, that's right.
Okay.
We only insert ourselves if we're allowed to, and basically we're on call. We're at the discretion of the police officers.
So let me just clarify. So you don't carry a weapon, even if it's your own and you have a concealed weapon permit?
No, we don't.
And you're just doing it for yourself? You don't carry?
We are never, because we are a member of the police department. Okay. We are not sworn officers. We have no police authority. We're not commissioned officers, so we're not armed at all.
How does the COP here compare to the Neighborhood Watch situation that happened in Florida with the Trayvon Martin case? In that instance, Mr. Zimmerman was a Neighborhood Watch person, but he was allowed to carry a gun, and of course a tragedy happened. Right. How do you compare your organization with that type of Neighborhood Watch?
Well, because we are an actual organization established within the police department, And we're a neighborhood watch association is the local neighbors getting together and developing an organization. And every city has different criteria on what they can and can't do. That's probably the biggest, because I actually belong to the neighborhood association in my town also.
You cover it all, don't you?
Well, I like to volunteer. But again, never a time, even in that capacity, I think in the city of DeSoto, through the city charter process, when we apply for a homeowners association, it says we are not to be armed. We're simply eyes and ears, a deterrent by being out there and being present, and that's our role.
What is the percentage of senior citizens that are involved in this?
Well, in DeSoto itself, and I'm the team chief for the DeSoto's program. There are about 45 COP members. I would guess our average age is 65. I'm probably one of the. I'm one of the young.
There you go! Yay! Thank you for doing that.
I'm one of the younger members.
Wow.
I'm 56, and probably we have a couple that's both very active seniors. He's 85, and she's 82.
Really?
And they are as tough as one can have, and conscientious and vibrant. And
so this is volunteerism and philanthropic things to help other people, and that's fantastic.
We ask that they patrol at least 12 hours a quarter on the street in uniform, and if we don't get it done, it's no big deal. But that is our goal.
So you're in charge of scheduling all of those people into the slots that they want to.
Pretty much.
Is it a 24-hour type situation?
Yes, it is. We ask the volunteers to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Again, most of my folks, we patrol shifts of 4 hours.
Sure.
The standard protocol for us, during daylight hours, we can be one person in the car by themselves. Hours of darkness, we must have 2 people in the car.
Is that a safety factor?
Yes, it is.
Good.
It is.
All right.
And so you're located in DeSoto?
I live in DeSoto.
DeSoto, Texas. And this organization is national?
Well, the Citizens Police Program is a national program. It was basically established many years back under President Bush under the Citizen Corps program. And there's a whole variety of subordinate organizations under Citizen Corps. But the Citizens Program that I come under comes under what they call the VIPS, Volunteer and Police Service. And it's got many options. And of course in the Dallas area, we're called COPs. We are called Volunteers and Police Service. We have Force Blue, is Dallas.
Force Blue.
Sheriff's Department is called CSD, Civilian Support Teams. So, but again, it's all civilians, volunteers like myself, supporting their police department.
How would a person of any age, but preferably our age, volunteer? Where would they look? Who would they get in touch with in order to volunteer and to get into the academy?
Every police department that has some kind of a citizens program will have a police officer who's going to be the liaison. In our case, we have a lady officer who's been doing it for many years, Officer Mendez. But I'd contact him or her, right, and ask that you want to apply for membership, because they're going to check you out. They're going to do a background investigation on you and make sure that you...
That makes sense.
Because in the capacity where we're not really privileged to secret, information, but we do hear things just by virtue we're in the back there.
Well, you're all like crusaders for us, and we appreciate that so much, because in this day and age, most people don't feel a sense of community, unfortunately.
I really wish we'd get more people into it.
Well, come on, let's go outside and hold our sign.
We can all be superheroes.
It's really nice, too, to have that level of maturity watching over you.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times young people, they can't don't react in a mature way in a lot of situations. Looking back at the Trayvon Martin situation, he was young. His mature level just was not there, in my opinion. And it's really nice to have that level of maturity that you and your people bring to COP.
I think it's a wonderful organization. I actually have a family member who's in an academy now, and so I really truly believe in this. And John, I want to thank you for joining us today. Now, can they contact you directly, or should they just go to their local police department?
Well, because every city has their own individual program. Okay. I would suggest each person would go to their own local police department.
Just contact the department
and inquire.
And just simply say they want to inquire about the Citizens on Patrol for their city.
Most every police department has a website.
Right.
And if you go to the website, you'll see if they've got some kind of program.
Well, thank you, John. This has been so informative, and we've been delighted to have you here. I think it's a very worthwhile organization, and it's something that, as we've retired and have a few moments, we can do these things. We can volunteer. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
All right.
We'll be right back.
You're good.
This is a public announcement. CNNMoney.com reports that in some areas of the country, buyers are scooping up homes for as little as $1,000. Foreclosures are at an all-time high. We're CRN, and since 1995, we've helped people just like you find bargain-priced homes. Call the number on your screen to learn how to get your extensive list of foreclosed homes for free. These homes have been foreclosed, confiscated, or repossessed. Every house must be sold. The government and banks are very motivated to sell these homes quickly, so listings may not always remain available in all areas. So act now. And right now, CRN is offering a home rebate of up to $1,000 in cash. And don't forget to ask about how to qualify for an additional rebate of up to $2,500. If you currently rent a house or apartment, you may call now and learn how to receive your free list of these homes. All others may call tomorrow. Every house must be sold. This is a public announcement.
Call 1-800-794-5149. That's 1-800-794-5149. Call now.
Welcome back to Grown Folk. We're going to be shifting gears here a little to a bit of a sad topic. Unfortunately, death and the aftermath of grief is something that all of us have to deal with at some point in our lives. And as we get older, it seems to visit us a little more often. The beautiful words that Summer read earlier in the program, they were written by our next guest, Bette Epstein. She's a clinical hypnotherapist and also has worked extensively in palliative care and a wonderful author. So we are so happy to have Bette here to help us navigate through this serious but very important topic. Bette, welcome to Grown Folk. We're so glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm here too, especially all that lovely thing, those things you're saying about.
They're all true. They're all true. They're true. We'll bring them on.
I wanted to tell you that piece that Summer read. The boy that I wrote about was the best friend of my eldest daughter. Oh, wow. And when he was 17, his best friend got a new motorcycle. But Robbie had never been on a motorcycle. And he begged his friend to let him try it. He got on, immediately ran into a tree. What? And he was gone.
Oh, no.
And it's been many, many years now, but I can't look at his sister or his mom or hear those words without
crying.
Oh, he was great. And he's great somewhere else now. Or maybe he's back. Or maybe
he might be any one of us.
What is the afterlife anyway? We really don't know what the afterlife is.
Some people come back and tell you if you're listening. But then you got to wonder if, I tell my kids when they go to those seance things, just because he's dead doesn't mean he's smart. Well, you don't know. You can't always trust what they say.
Yeah. Now, Bette, one of the things that fascinated me also is your work with palliative care. Could you explain to the people that are not familiar with that what that is?
Well, it's palliative.
Palliative. Excuse me.
It's got a strange little spelling. It's people who sit with the act of dying. And it's a training that I took through the American Academy of Bereavement after I'd finished this book and had been going to some of their other classes. And it's my favorite of all the work I do. It's my very favorite because it gives the people who know they're about to exit an opportunity to talk to someone who doesn't have an emotional investment in their death. And so they can tell me anything. And
is that part of a hospice program?
Most hospice groups have a palliative care group. I used to do hospice, volunteered through visiting nurses, and it was back in the 70s, and they gave me all of their AIDS patients. Because that was when nobody wanted
to touch them or be around them because of the infection.
And in that case, I would bathe them, I'd clean their house, I'd walk their dogs, And if they had bad families who were like vultures waiting, sometimes we'd sell everything in the house before Mom got there.
Well, it's an act of kindness as far as in the Jewish religion. When someone passes on, one of the biggest and highest mitzvahs we call good deeds is to bathe the body, and that it's called Hara Kadisha, right?
Hara Kadisha.
Yeah, and that is something that is looked very highly upon, doing that when someone exits this world. We don't know what the next world's going to be, but that is a huge, huge mitzvah for my religion.
It's like the biggest one.
The biggest one.
Yeah. To wash the dead.
Do you use your hypnotherapy a lot with the people you're working with?
Only, you mean in the palliative care?
Only with their families, I mean.
I try to avoid their families because that's always trouble. I mean, not always trouble, but that brings in what this parent, what this
It's
child
negative
wants.
energy sometimes?
It can be negative energy. It can also be opinions that the dying person's already heard. And a lot of people can't help their person who's about to cross over make their last wishes. And so we pick songs and poems and who's going to read what, who's going to do the eulogy.
So they're basically doing their own funeral
They are.
planning.
And it's fun
I think
because
that's healthy.
Like it's last rites, don't you?
I mean,
In a way, isn't it?
I know
Is
it
that
doesn't.
true?
I said it's fun. It's heart fun. You know,
Right.
it blesses
It's
you.
medicine for the soul.
Medicine, that's a great way of
Medicine
putting
for
it.
the soul.
Well, for a giving person like yourself, it would be fun because we need all kinds of people on this planet. There are all kinds of needs that we have, and to have a person around that loves to do this kind of work and has so much to give, and you don't deplete yourself in the process.
No, you learn to bring down your shields, and you say, okay, I'm not taking this person's stuff home with me at the end of the day because it'll break your heart over and over and
Well,
over.
it's just like being an oncologist and being an oncologist telling a cancer patient, you know, this is an X amount of time to live. How are you going to plan the rest of your life? What are you know, whatever's left, we don't know. We're given only a certain amount, and that's that. No, but people like Bette, to have people like Bette around for the last hours, minutes, seconds of
Weeks
life.
sometimes.
No, look, I cared for a father who was a Parkinson patient. He went from 140 pounds to from 220 pounds to 140 shriveled up pounds in a nursing home. That was the end of his life and how he crossed over into it. But I was there to comfort him, like you.
Now, now probably in your clinical hypnotherapist Pat, you actually help then family members, don't you? No, no, you don't.
Oh, really?
You do, boy.
When does your
person that needs the
hypnotherapy come
care the
into play?
most.
It comes in.
And when you use it and you put someone in a hypnotic state, what timing does it take to transition from their natural state to a hypnotic state, or does that actually happen?
It depends on the person. Hypnosis is so individual. I mean,
Subjective?
Anytime your brain's doing one thing and your body's doing something else, you're in hypnosis. So when you're jogging and you're thinking and your body's doing this, you're in the zone, and that's the most ultimate hypnosis state.
Can not a person, can you actually tell a person what to do and kind of rule their lives like on TV?
I wish.
That'd be great. That'd be a great asset.
Really, what is
Can't
it
do
that
anything.
you do when you hypnotize a person? What one come to you that needs that therapy? What would you do, and how would it help them?
With the grief work?
Excuse me?
With the grief work or just generally?
Oh, generally, we can talk.
Generally.
Yeah, generally. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me just finish up. When I said I don't want to work with the families after. You know, I'll work with.
We understand. We
No,
understand.
I mean, after the funeral and after they've gone through so much and they feel they need help, then they come to me and I say, okay, we can fix this. But I work with everything. I work with children from 4 to people who are 104. You know, there's no age, some people say, oh, don't you have to be really smart or don't you have to be really stupid? everybody is in and out of hypnosis all day, every day.
Betty, I hate to interrupt you, but it looks like we're getting close to the end of this segment, and we wanted to give you a big
have her back.
We
need you back.
We are going to have you back so that we can keep talking about all of this wonderful work that you're doing. And I want to let everyone know that she's written this beautiful book called Odes to Grief. And her newest one is Husband, Lovers, and Other Sorrows.
Ooh.
So that sounds very interesting. We will be right back after this short break.
Thank you.
For the past 10 years, our graduates shared their stories. Now they come together for the first time.
It's just really fantastic to see where everybody kind of started out and where they are now.
The education itself has opened numerous doors and opportunities for me. The best thing that's happened to me after my education is being able to provide for my family. That ITT Tech allowed me to become whom I've always wanted to be.
If there's something that you want to do, do it. It will pay off in the long run. Stick to it. Know exactly what your dream and your goal is and stick to it. Any dream that you have, turn it into reality. It is possible. You have to have an education, so I would say make the investment, go ahead, get the education, better yourself, and just, raise the bar.
We are educators helping people build a foundation for the rest of their lives. ITT Technical Institute, education for the future.
Schedule your campus tour. Call 800-816-7115.
Welcome back to Grown Folk. We just enjoyed a very interesting visit regarding palliative care with a wonderful author who wrote 2 wonderful books. It's a little bit sobering, but it's encouraging at the same time. I thought that was a wonderful segment. Thank you very much, Lourdes.
And we definitely need to get Betty back.
We have so many questions.
We have lots more questions for her.
Right.
She didn't get to answer the last one. We're aware of that, so we'll have to have her back. And I wanted to let you know we have some great shows lined up for you. If you're interested in being an actress or actor and you're over 55, stay tuned. And one of the shows coming up in the next few weeks, you'll get information about that. We have a new segment coming up called the Grown Folk Person of the Week that we'll be introducing. That's going to be very interesting. And I want to give a shout out to Harold Drew, my father-in-law up in Michigan, and my brother Thomas Uzel in Chicago for contributing to the production fund for this show so we can stay on the air.
Thank you.
We all like that.
Thank you.
We also have a couple of fun segments besides the acting and other things coming up. We have a fashion show. We have a jewelry fashion show. Yes, we have all those things planned and more. So we hope that you stay with us and stay tuned. Go to our website, grownfolk.info. You can watch our previously aired shows. You can send us a message, tell us what you'd like us to talk about on the show, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.